Hello everyone, welcome my channel. Today I would like to make a reading for this retrograde which will last till 15th of September if I'm not mistaken. But this retrograde is specifically heavy from what I have felt this time, and I feel like every one of us needs a little bit of guidance between what is going on right now. So I decided to make this pick a card reading. So this is group number 1, this is group number 2, and this is group number 3. Now, to pick your pile, you have to pick it intuitively, so you can close your eyes, you can ask the question like which pile is for me, and then when you open your eyes, the first pile your eyes will land on, this should be kind of like the pile that is meant for you, basically whichever one you let resonate with. I also have some crystals here to help you pick your pile. We have the mountain crystal, we have the quartz, and we have the lapis lazuli one, okay? So I will give you your time to pick your pile, and you can find all the timestamps in the description or in the comments, all right? So see you in your pile. Hello, group number 1. So nice to have you here. All right, so you picked this beautiful card called Purity and this clear crystal I picked with it, okay? So this card of Purity actually popped up in my reading, collective reading for last week. And I feel like it really nicely represents this retrogrades for you. Alright, I have picked some of the decks I thought the most resonate with this pile. So I'm gonna now proceed to pull a little bit of cards for you of advice, of how you can approach this, and generally what are your messages for this period of time, alright? So give me a moment, I will shuffle them. Here I have all my decks, and I will be right back just to not take time from this video. Okay, my guys, we are getting some really fitting cards along with this Purity, so I decided I will start. So we have the 8 of Cups, which is actually such an amazing connection to this Purity card, which is all about breaking free, and leaving things behind but no longer serve you. And I feel like that's so beautifully aligned with this card. Let's keep going. What else is there for pile number 1 for this retrograde? All right. And we have the 8 of Pentacles. All right. Beautifully. All right. So let's focus first on this 8 of Cups. All right. So I feel like there are certain things in your life that you have to really break free. And now is the time where you are either ready or you have to make yourself ready kind of to let go of those things, because I feel like this is such a breaking point for you, like a breaking through point where you're actually suddenly, finally leaving all those things behind. And I feel like this is such a decluttering time for you where you have to actually start taking away everything that no longer serves you from your life. It's about having a blank page in your life and having space for new things to come, basically. And I feel like that's connected to this 8 of Pentacles, which is working about something you're really passionate about, okay? So I feel like it's all about really removing all the old energy from your life. So there is this space for new passion and new ideas and new work and projects you want to make, right? So I feel like this is such an important part of it. All right, let's pull out one more card for you, group number 1. For this retrograde, what is coming up for this retrograde? What else of an information? What is like a big theme maybe here? All right, what is maybe like a big theme here? Oh, okay, interesting. Oh my gosh, we have 2 of Cups reversed and we have the Emperor reversed, all right? So that speaks about not being kind of in control when it comes to your relationships with others and relations you generally might have, maybe even partnerships or other things in your life that have to do with being kind of in a partnership with other people in your life or with projects or with situations, and I feel like there is this energy of you not being fully in control of how those things are proceeding, It might have to do with how you communicate, it might have to do with how other people act, how you act, and so on and so on. But basically, I feel like there is this energy for many of you, but you're kind of feeling like you're out of control or you don't have much to say within those things that don't go well when it comes to those conflicts, when it comes to people in your life, relationships. So I feel like that's really a part of what you need to kind of break through. I feel like it has a lot to do with mindset or with old patterns of how the situation is going so far, and I feel like this has to go here. And I feel like along with this business, it doesn't only concern the relationships, but also the businesses. I feel like many of you, group number one, will be working on your businesses, will be breaking free, and I feel like both relationships and the businesses will be going after this retrograde into a new level. You know what I mean? Because I feel like you're finally gonna notice that you're kind of tired of not having control. You're tired of not having any input and being kind of controlled by those situations. And I feel like you're finally going into this energy in this retrograde where you're starting to actually have an input in what's going on in your life and being like, yeah, I can do it. I can have control over it. And those things will not affect me anymore. This time I am going to control those things. This time I will be the one in control, because I feel like you're sick of living under the shadow of those things that are controlling your life, that are controlling your emotions, you're controlling your well-being, and I feel like it's finally time to turn the tables. All right, but there are certain things that you have to know on this path in order to let go of those things. And I feel like the perfect deck I have picked for you is this Murder of Crows Tarot, which is basically all about honesty, So we're going to ask this deck, what is something you have to know about this phase of life right now on this retrograde? Maybe in order to help you release those things or break through those things, okay? But basically we're going to ask, what is some honesty we need? All right. And of course, we got the Emperor. Like, you have to start taking control over yourself and over your life, in the sense that you do have it. You know what I mean? Like, you can do it, and you have enough of potential, you have enough of resources to actually take control of those things, because I feel like you've been letting situations and circumstances control how you feel way too much, and I feel like it's time to stop letting the fate control you, but rather start controlling things yourself, So I feel like you're gonna be going into this Emperor mode, but in order to do that, it has to come from you. The initiative has to come from you. So you have to really kind of start getting into this role, and it's not going to happen any other way. It's not going to magically happen. You actually have to take responsibility for yourself, because I feel like this energy of Emperor really tries to show us, the role of responsibility in your life. And so the honesty here is that you have to start taking responsibility for yourself and for your life. Otherwise, nothing magically will happen. You have to decide what you want there and what you don't want. So I feel like this is a very important phase of life. Sorry for that, guys. My camera has a limit of 8 minutes on the HD resolution, so I have to stop every 8 minutes. So sorry for that. I will now get back to that. So as I was saying, the Emperor here really reminds you, honestly, that there needs to be more self-responsibility and responsibility for your life in order to actually change something and to break free from all those habits and patterns that aren't exactly helpful for you, And it takes a certain amount of responsibility to be able to finally be aware of how you want to go about those things, okay? So now the second card we got here is King of Wands. And King of Wands here reminds us that there needs to be more smartness when it comes to making actions in your life, So it cannot be like, again, with this Emperor, it cannot be, again, like you're going through life and you're just letting whatever happens and you're being controlled by your mind, you're being controlled by your patterns and expecting things to magically change. This King of Wands reminds us here that our actions need to be smart. Our actions have to be intentional in order to get the effects we are expecting out of our work, as the saying goes, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results is kind of, stupidity. So we have to really be more intentional about what we put in our work, in our projects, and in our relationships here. Otherwise, we will still be controlled by whatever is going on if we just keep being on autopilot, and expecting things to turn around, okay? So that is very important. Intentional actions, putting things and acting on things with intention and with self-responsibility for those things, Basically, you're responsible for your life. You're responsible of how your situation looks like, your relationships, your career, and other thing is that the only thing we can control is us and how we act in those situations. So I feel like this is a very big message for you on this retrograde. Now, as an advice card, we got the Moon Star, which is a beautiful card. This card basically speaks about how you have way more potential than you can think of, and you should just trust in yourself, trust in your power, and trust in your potential, and I feel like that again has so much to do with Emperor, which is stepping in your power, stepping in your strength, and trusting the fact that you as a person have potential to lead through your life, to lead yourself, lead others, and have an input in your life, because I feel like you've been undermining your strength and your input in your own life for all this time in the near past, or maybe even couple of months, and it seems to me that you've really been kind of subconsciously belittling yourself in a way, I feel like you've been kind of like on this autopilot, and I feel like it's time to finally step into your power, to finally bring yourself up to the surface, I feel like there was too much hiding lately, and I feel like you need this breakthrough. You need this stepping out of your comfort zone. You need this stepping out from your inside, and actually being your own person and owning yourself, and most importantly, owning your life here, So I feel like that's very important. Trusting yourself and trusting your power, trusting the input you can have in your life, having self-responsibility, having responsibility over your life, and making intentional actions, and most importantly, breaking through from things that no longer serve you. And that doesn't have to be situations, it doesn't have to be people, but it can be just the way you are managing situations, the way you're thinking, the way your mindset is working. Because as you can see with this Emperor reverse here, it seems like you're being on autopilot. It seems like you're being controlled by your own thoughts, mindset, and it seems like you're going through life on this autopilot and you're not actually making anything intentionally. And that's why everything is in this loophole, So I feel like that's very important to be aware that you're not being stuck in your patterns, all right? Okay, group number 1. So that's all I have for you for this retrograde, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it brought you something to think about, all right? So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Hello, group number 2. You have picked this beautiful card of healing and this quartz. All right, so first of all, this card reminds me like almost there's something foggy going on that kind of blurs a little bit of your vision, all right? And we have obviously this beautiful healing card, which tells to me that there's something to heal, something to reflect on, something to basically put more awareness into when it comes to your life, okay? Something that needs your attention, basically. All right, so group number 1, I have already pre-choose the tarot decks that I thought would be the most suitable for your reading here, the most I felt attracted to. So I'm gonna now take my time and shuffle some cards for you from those decks, and I'll be right back just to not take time from this video, okay? Alright guys, I have shuffled some cards for you from this beautiful Edmund Dulac deck, and we have 3 cards here which popped up, and of course we have the Sun, which just confirms for me this crystal here, which is basically the clarity of vision that is needed right now in your life, okay? So let's get started, okay? So from what I'm seeing here, with this Ace of Swords here, there is something to do with your mind here, So you might have an issue lately with, having the clarity of mind or thinking clearly about certain things or making certain decisions in your life, because this Ace of Swords is all about mindset, all about mentality, all about, having to bring up your forces, your strengths to think about something that may be on your mind, So you might have an idea of what it is that is on your mind lately, or something that has been bugging you or bothering you. But basically, I feel like there is just some kind of background process, thinking process going on behind. And I feel like it has a lot to do with making certain decisions. This card, 5 of Swords here, is all about thinking of pros and cons of certain situations, So if you're dealing lately with a decision about if something is good or bad for you, or what you should do about certain situations, you have to think about pros and cons. You actually have to take your energy and think about the stuff, because it has to do with your healing. It has to do with you, with your well-being, okay? So just make sure that any decision that you're making right now at this period of time, anything you're making mentally wise, anything you're thinking about, it has a very clear purpose at the heart of it, which is your well-being and your healing, and you being better and feeling better about your life and yourself and as your well-being, So I feel like this mental thing that is going on here, it really, really needs your attention at the moment, okay? because there is a big need for clarity here. There is this big need of needing some light being brought into your mindset here, or into how you perceive reality and your life here. As you can see, even with this Ace of Swords here, we can see this big fog or smoke here, which is basically like clouding you, and it's really interesting how this is really aligning together. But yeah, with this Five of Swords, I really feel like you need some time to yourself, and you need some time to reflect and bring your thoughts together, because I feel like lately it's really hard for you to bring your thoughts together, and it might be even out of circumstances that are outside, that are external. So I really feel like you need some time alone, you need some time to think and actually figure out a certain solution to whatever you're thinking about. It doesn't have to be specific or direct to a specific thing, but basically you need some time to figure out and organize your thoughts, So your priority for this time of retrograde should be definitely to bring some light upon your life, upon how you're thinking, about your mindset, about your priorities, And I feel like all of it has one thing in common, which is to basically heal you, to give you a certain space for healing and digestion of certain maybe situations, maybe thoughts. It can be really anything for you, okay? Group number 2. Now, I have picked this Nicoletta deck for you because it has a lot to do with traumas. It has a lot to do with dealing with difficult emotions. And since you have a card of healing, I decided it resonates perfectly with you, okay? So let's see. What is something, group number 2, on this retrograde that needs your attention? All right, and we have a Tower, okay? So this is very nice. It seems to me, Tower here, it symbolizes not having good foundations for something, So I feel like this might have a lot to do with your past, or something you're thinking of lately, or a decision you're trying to make lately, or generally your mindset here, It basically doesn't have good foundations, It seems to me like your thoughts lately don't have enough of stability to get anything going in your life. Now, this seems really unspecific, so I feel like it will be different for many of you, group number 2, but basically, please make sure that anything you're trying to make right now in your life, anything you're trying to decide on, make sure that it has good foundation, and a good foundation definitely should have your well-being and you as a first priority here. So definitely make sure that things are set on a good foundations, because this Tower, he tells me that there is something that will fall apart sooner or later, There's something that doesn't have good foundations, and if it will not be fixed, it will fall apart. And that's just the, effects and consequences. All right, let's see. What else is coming through for group number 2? All right, and it's actually so amazing that we got this King of Swords here, because King of Swords here is again all about thinking, And King of Swords is someone who knows how to think, someone who knows how to plan, someone who knows how to make sense of their ideas, someone who knows how to make sense of their thoughts, someone who is in control of all those things, Also, this reminds me that maybe you should journal, especially when it comes to making your thoughts and mindset a little bit clearer. I feel like journaling and writing down your thoughts or feelings might really bring a lot of clarity to your life. So make sure that you're actually taking time to write down everything you're feeling about, or especially when you're feeling overwhelmed, all right? So I feel like taking control of your thoughts and your mindset and, realizing how thoughts affect you, but it will be very important, because I feel like this Tower, again, has a lot to do with how your thoughts affect you, how your mindset, how those unorganized thoughts are affecting you on a daily basis, because I feel like that's very important. All right, and we have Two of Wands here, okay? Two of Wands is a very interesting card, okay? It basically speaks about being really enchanted by something that doesn't have much of an effect, So I feel like in this case, you might have some ideas, you might have a certain idea of how things will look like or how they look like, but actually it's kind of being in a little bit of a delusion here, for a simple fact that you're looking more about at things of how they look from the outside, but you're not actually looking at the functionality or the meaning of those things. Now, it might really be about anything in your life. I feel like this is very, very vague in the sense of it might be a very different thing for every one of you. But basically, this Tower, he tells me that there's no foundations and there's only this shallow outlook on the cover of a book, basically. As they say, Don't judge the book by the cover, you know. So I feel like in your situation in your life right now, you have something that has a very beautiful cover, you know, and you're looking at this cover, you're like, enchanted by it, you know. But in the reality of things, the content of it isn't functional, isn't good, and you know, it's not something that will really give you stability in your upcoming weeks and or in the future, you know. So that's something to really have in mind, to really look into things deeply and make sure that you have a clarity of mind in order to make a proper decisions for yourself in your life. All right, guys. So group number 2, I'll pull out one card of advice for you. For group number 2 for this retrograde. Oh, that's crazy. 1 second. My cards are all over the place, guys. Let's try this again. Group number 2. Okay, and we have self-reliance. All right, that's a beautiful card, one of my favorites. All right, so this self-reliance card that really reminds me here of the 5 of Swords, which is basically being alone with your thoughts and making your own independent decisions here, okay? So that really reminds me of this. But basically being able to think for yourself, I feel like that is a very big theme for you in this retrograde group number 2. Thinking for yourself, all right? Thinking for yourself, knowing, you know, what you want, making decisions for yourself as well. That's also something that popped up in the reading for this week. But yeah, basically having a clarity of mind and basically knowing what you want, knowing what is good for you, and looking at your well-being here, all right? That's very important. And definitely try to write down your thoughts, to not be overwhelmed, to put things together. Try to make pros and cons lists to decide for yourself. And try to build things on the proper foundations here, because as I said, there is this thing with looking only at the cover and not seeing the reality behind it, you know. So really be aware of choosing something that will be good long term for you, okay? So that's the messages I'm getting for you, group number 2, for this retrograde. So I hope it gives you something to think about, and I hope you enjoy this reading, okay? So I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye. Hello, group number 3. You picked this beautiful card of dreams along with this lapis lazuli card. And it gives me a very intense feeling. What is going on here is very intense. It is really in-depth. That's the feeling I'm getting here, okay? Guys, so I pre-chose the decks for you that I'm going to be reading from, that I thought will resonate the most with the reading for you specifically, okay? So give me a second, I'll pull out some cards to not waste time from this video. Okay, guys, so first thing I got for you is the Hanged Man, okay? And along with those dreams, okay, it gives me a really deep self-reflection type of feeling here, okay? I feel like a lot of you really need time to put things on pause and actually reflect on certain things, okay? Because I feel like this Hanged Man, so the interesting thing about this Hanged Man here is that, as you can see this person here kind of transforming the energy. So the thing about taking this time out, you know, and taking a pause in your life is actually all about transferring this energy and kind of being able to transform it into something better later on, you know. So this time off is actually kind of like an investment for the future to create something better for yourself. And I feel like along with this dreams card, it speaks a lot about you making basically a better future for yourself and thinking about your life more intentionally through the kind of through the priority of creating something based on your dreams and passions, you know. So I feel like you really need a lot of reflection about what you want to create in your life, about what it is you're dreaming of, or what it is you're kind of passionate about, what it is you want to create, most of it, importantly, manifestation, affirmation, you know. Thinking about what it is you want to create, so you have basically a vision for it. And we have the Lovers, yeah, being united with what you want to create here, you know. This card is all about uniting yourself with others, with your life, being in alignment, you know. Sorry guys, my phone is overheating. So where was I at? Okay, so this is all about alignment with yourself and with your life here, you know, because if you don't have a vision for your life, you will not be able to align your life with who you are, what you want to create, you know. And I feel like that's why this Hangman phase, this pause, this rest time is so important for you, because you need this time for reflection. You need to have this time to figure out what is your vision, what are your dreams, and what you want to create, right? So alignment with yourself, alignment with your vision, alignment with your life, alignment with the people in your life. That's very important, okay? So now that we know that, let's figure out some more information for group number 3 for this retrograde. Okay, and we have the Hermit, and we have this Hierophant here. Sorry, not Hierophant, the Chariot. So that's actually super perfect and really aligned here. The Hermit is, of course, about taking time for yourself, and this card is really beautiful. It talks about being alone so you can actually hear your thoughts, so you can hear the echo of your thoughts, the echo of yourself, you know? Because if you're always surrounded by certain things, if you're always surrounded by noise and house and people and everything going on around you, you will never be able to listen to yourself, to hear yourself in the house of it all, you know? And again, this is so important for you to figure out where you want to go from now on in your life. This Chariot is all about having a vision of where you want to go in your life, you know, having a plan, having a vision. And this card is actually so amazing because it specifically means having a vision and having a plan, which is so amazingly aligned with this Dreams card and this Hangman and what I just said really, Shirley. So yeah, basically taking time for yourself, taking time to be alone, and definitely writing down your visions, writing down your plans, and figuring out how you want to go about your life from now on with intention, with alignment. So that's something very important here. I feel like the message for group number 3 is like the most spiritual, most like up to the point and direct here. So I feel like that's super like to the point. Let's see, what's the advice for group number 3 for this retrograde? Okay, and we have a Fee of Wonder. That's awesome. So Fee of Wonder is all about kind of creating more curiosity and wonder in your life. So I feel like a lot about what's going on right now in your life is about stepping out of your usual day-to-day life, because I feel like you've been so engaged into what's going on in your life day to day, another day after another day after another day, but you kind of forgot where you want to go to begin with. You're so stuck into what's going on every minute, every second of the day, but you kind of forgetting where you're going to begin with, you know? And I feel like that's very important here. And it's really important for you to be able to step out of your comfort zone and step out of your normal day-to-day routine and start exploring over themes, over topics, over aspects, areas of your life, and actually learning new things and exploring new things and trying out new things, you know? I feel like it's so important to explore different ways of living rather than just going with every same thing every day, you know, to the point where you're kind of forgetting where you're going and who you are and what you want to do with your life, you know? So I feel like this phase of your life, this retrograde, is all about kind of remembering who you are and what you want to do with your life, you know? So I feel like that's such an important message for you here, you know, and advice for you is definitely to start exploring new things and try out different things, you know, basically do everything, but just not the things you were doing so far every day, day by day. Change your routine, start doing different things, learn new things, you know, study new things, do something different, okay? Act with curiosity, act with wonder, you know, and basically definitely remember to go back to your inner child, you know, to go back into the inner self. As this card says, you know, you have to hear the echo of your thoughts. You have to hear the echo of yourself, you know, of what's going on inside of you. So I feel like connecting more into your inner self, into your inner voice, into your intuition, you know, and actually hearing yourself for a difference, you know, that is gonna help you so much. All right, so I feel like this is like the most spiritual message in all those groups here. But that's all I have for you, basically, group number 3. So I hope this gave you something to think of. I hope it gave you some direction to act on from now on in this retrograde. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Thank you so much, all of you, for watching my video today. It was a pleasure to make it, and I hope to hear from you guys in the comments. What do you think? And so on. So thank you so much, and bye-bye, guys.